Ronald Delancey and Gage Gaynor real takes for us, considering the current state of recruiting on the O-line at cornerback. Yeah, I think that both of them are moving into take territory, like with every second that passes. Miami is in, is not recruiting those positions well this year in terms of what they need, numbers and quantity and quality. And it looks like Devontae Brown, Selwyn Brown's son, is leaning towards going to UCF, which is the team that has been recruiting him the hardest, the longest time, and things like that. And, again, I say he's maybe a guy who needs a mango season or two before he's a rotation player at Miami, and probably the same thing at UCF. But, if that's the team that's been giving him love and everything, and, hey, Miami has not necessarily had a strong track record recently with, legacy players, sons and relatives of prior greats at Miami. So he's maybe looking elsewhere. And, Miami parted ways with Antonio Smith, but then you have Chris Morris, who's a 4-star, who is committed to Texas A&M. He's the one who said earlier in the summer at a recruiting event, actually back in the spring, that he wanted an offer from Miami. Said it like that. Miami didn't offer him until October. That was right before he visited Texas A&M and committed there. And Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher, he knows the drill, and he was good enough to block that official visit from this weekend. So now you only have 2 offensive linemen in this group. You're not probably going to flip Chris Morris because he's never visited Miami, and you missed the window when he's a 4-star All-American. So I don't know why we're not offering him to begin with, but you let that go by the wayside. So you have 1 corner in this class, you have 2 offensive linemen in this class, and you need 2 corners and 4 or 5 offensive linemen. That means Ronald Delancey from Miami Northwestern Senior High School, it's becoming time to look at him as a take. Also, Gage Gaynor, this is Corey Gaynor's younger brother. I thought he was a 2021 kid, but apparently he's in this recruiting class. And yeah, I mean, you need guys, and if you don't go get them, now what are we talking about? Back to the transfer portal. But that's a Band-Aid when you need, reconstructive surgery. If you spin the transfer portal forward every single year, you're going to do what Bill Snyder did at Kansas State with JUCO players, which it's its own kind of interesting roster building experiment. But with, and you've seen Last Chance U, they have the Jayhawk Conference out there with all those JUCOs in Kansas and the surrounding areas, Iowa, things like that. It's easy for them from proximity to go get those guys, bring them to K-State. You put them in the league, you put them somewhere, they get a degree, they go coach, things like that. It's different than at Miami. And even, the transfers that Miami got in this year, a lot of them are not, 1-year stopgap guys. Osman Traore is a 3-year guy. Asa Martin was supposed to be a 3-year guy, even after a redshirt this year, but he decided to leave. These other guys that they brought in on the transfer portal, Jalen Phillips, that's a 2-year guy. All these other guys, they're Tate Martell, that's a 3-year guy. Like that. Those are guys who were supposed to be here for a long time. So I say all that to say it would be interesting if Miami would have to go back to the transfer portal again, but at some point, you need numbers, you need quality and quantity. And Miami does not have either at corner or offensive line. So you're getting to the point where you got to stretch the definition of what a take is and what the defining traits of a Miami Hurricanes recruit and roster player are going to be. And that's a double-edged sword because you don't want to reach too badly where you get substandard players, but you also don't want to be bereft of numbers on your roster where one injury puts you in a negative situation. No, I will not Hurricane Zoe calm down. Ease up off me, bruh.